Hi guys, today is Friday, December 7th, and welcome to episode 74 of Knits and Stuff. My name is Alicia, and today we'll be talking about events, finished objects, works in progress, and pretty things. But first, welcome to those of you that are new, and for those of you that are returning, thanks for coming back. If you haven't already, there's a group in Ravelry that you can join. It's called Knits and Stuff Podcast. And I'll put a link in the show notes, which are at knitsandstuffpodcast.com. And before we get started, I'm going to steal a segment from the Knitmore Girls, a 1 minute or less than 1 minute health update. If you've been watching for a while, you might notice that I might sound a little bit different. I had a surgery like a month ago-ish, so I'm slowly recovering. I'm doing fine. So I'm sounding a little bit different, but that also means I have a ton of knitting to show because I had so much time off work to do a lot of knitting, so I'm excited to show all of that. So let's get started. Events. I'm planning to go to Stitches West in February. That's February 21st to the 24th. I'm not planning to attend any classes, just go to the market, and probably on Saturday or Sunday. Haven't decided which day yet, but planning to go there. If you don't know what Stitches West is, it's a knitting and fiber expo, just a hall full of vendors, and also they have classes that you can take, which one of these days I will take one of those classes. But if you see me there, feel free to say hi. I am rather quiet in person, so just a warning. But so Stitches West is the only event that I have coming up in a couple months. So so that brings us to knitting. So I showed this last week, but I might as well mention it again, that it was almost finished, not last week, last podcast. It was almost finished the last time I showed it. I think I just had to weave in ends and block it. So now I'm wearing my Woolen Waves shawl by Casapinka. I knit this out of the Miss Babs gradient set in the Fun in the Sun colorway, and then the contrast color, the gray, is the Quicksilver. The ends are finally woven in, and I can finally wear this around, and it matches my Pusheen holiday sweater very well. So it's a good shawl. So other finished objects that we have, got a bunch. I'm doing these slightly out of order of what you might have seen before, but this is the Burberry inspired cowl neck scarf by Julianne Smith, and it's out of Viking of Norway Eco Alpaca in colorway 402. I knit these on US 9s, 5.5 millimeter. And I went down one size because of the alpaca content, I guess, and I had also added an extra cable repeat. Someone basically followed the same modifications that Lina in Ravelry had made. And then I did not, I forgot to do a provisional cast on because I was too excited to cast this on when I did. But I did, I was able to undo the cast on that I had and Kitchener that together. So it's essentially the same. And actually by having a regular cast on and undoing it, I had enough yarn at the beginning to do the Kitchener, so I guess that's one way to ensure that you have enough, or have like the not too much or not too little length of yarn for the stitching. So not maybe the fastest way, but it's but it's done, and it's really soft and floopy, if that's a word. And yeah, I really like the cables, and it's nice and scrunchy when you wear it around your neck, so that'll be nice and warm for the winter. So the next finished object that I have is something that I haven't shown in a really long time. I started this cardigan back in 2014, and I forget when I had it mostly finished. It was basically just waiting for the button, not even the button band, but sewing the grosgrain ribbon on and the buttons on. But I finally got around to doing that, and this is what it looks like. So this is the Twigs and Willows cardigan by Alana Dakos, from the Botanical Knits book. I knit this out of Madeline Tosh DK and the Night Bloom colorway on US 7s, 4.5 millimeters. And the buttons that I got, see if I can get a close-up, those are from the Button Emporium in Portland, and I got them, I forget if I got the buttons first or and then decided they would be good for this cardigan, or if I had already planned on using them for the specific pattern. I'm pretty sure I at least got the buttons knowing that I wanted to use them for one of the patterns out of Botanical Knits. But yeah, anyway, I ended up with a finished cardigan, and then this is what the grosgrain ribbon looks like on the inside. So I did, on one side of the button band, I did a zigzag stitch on my sewing machine, and then you can kind of see it in, I don't know if you guys are able to see this or if I can hold it close enough, but you can kind of see the zigzag stitch on the knitting side. So on the buttonhole side, I did just a regular back stitch by hand, so that way you wouldn't see the stitches going through on the front. So now when it's buttoned up, it looks relatively normal, professional, finished. Yeah, so I'm really excited though, and I'm glad that it still fits. It actually fits probably a little better than it would have when I first knit it, because I think I was kind of in the middle of sizes when I picked out which size, but now when I try it on, it fits really well. So I'm really excited to wear this, and it's done in the perfect season now that it's cold. So yeah, finally have this done. So my next finished object is something that you've probably seen a lot the past couple of podcasts, but I finally finished these toe-up socks with a difference by Wendy Johnson. This is out of Mustache Yarn in the colorway Dark Side of the Moon on a perfect sock base, and I did a afterthought heel, incorporating Afterthought heel by Laura Linneman and by Lala from the Knit Girls, and this was a true afterthought heel. So I had been knitting the socks and lost track of how much I had knit and ended up knitting past where the heel would go, so I decided I would just do an afterthought. And it wasn't too hard to do, but I don't think I really like the look of it as much, or the fit as much as either the Fish Lips Kiss heel or just a regular heel flap. So I don't know that I actually want to do it again. I like the idea of an afterthought heel where you can kind of just knit a tube and then put your heel in later. But I think for me it takes longer to do that afterthought heel, and I would rather have the heel done, I guess, by the time I'm like finishing the sock up. So yeah, anyway, I do have another pair of socks that I have a planned afterthought heel, like as a forethought heel on, so I'll at least have to do it one more time. but maybe I can look around and see if there are any other techniques for doing that afterthought heel instead of just kind of mimicking the toe of a sock, because that's essentially what you're doing. And I'm not as I guess I don't like the look as much, but I still, I'm still gonna wear these and I still like the socks. So I'm slowly building up my sock drawer and I'm excited about that. But yeah. Oh, and then I did Jenny's surprisingly stretchy bind off on the top, which I like the way that looks. And yeah. Okay, so next finished object, see, I'm telling you, I have a lot of knitting, is the turban by Amelie Bernier. I knit 2 of these. These are going to be gifts, and they're basically little twisted headbands, and it's out of Madeline Tosh Pashmina worsted on US 8s, 5.0 millimeters, and I did a provisional cast on these so I could just Kitchener them up, and I've been doing a lot of Kitchener stitching recently, so I'm getting really good at it. So yeah, these are nice and soft. I think the pashmina is part cashmere, part merino, and so they're really squishy and should be hopefully good gifts. So yeah, and then more gifts. I knit a baby vertebrae for one of my friend's future baby. This is out of Miss Babs Yaza in the colorway Zombie Prom, and this is on US 5s and 7s, which are 3.75 and 4.5 millimeters. This is not blocked yet, so that's why it looks a little wonky, but I really like the colors of this. I want like socks out of those colors. I really like how I think just Miss Babs colorways in general, the multicolored or variegated skeins, they always look really nice, because I'm not a big fan of pooling, and her skeins always come out like very variegated and they don't have like the big chunks of colors. So yeah, I really like this. I want to try and find see if she has a sock yarn in the Zombie Prom colorway, or something similar, because I would love to have a pair of socks like out of these. And I still have a ton of the Yaza left, so I'm gonna need to figure out what I want to do with the rest of that. But I realized that Yaza is really good for baby knits because you can have like a whole matching set of stuff. So maybe I'll knit some more to match, more baby knits to match this. But yeah, so that's my baby vertebrae, and that's all I have for finished objects. So now works in progress. I have some things that I have shown before that I picked back up. So some socks that I started a while ago are the monkey socks by Coquier, and these are out of my camera really wants to focus on my face. These are out of Koigu KPPPM in the colorway 704P, and they are knit on US 1s, 2.25 millimeters. I'm using my signature TPNs, and I have the first sock done. It's incorporating the Fish Lips Kiss heel, and I did I couldn't figure out for the longest time what cast on I did, but finally I realized it was the cable cast on, and so I was able to cast on my second sock. This is how far I've gone. So the pattern calls for a 1x1 twisted rib, and or semi-twisted rib. I ended up twisting the purl stitches on this one, even though the pattern only calls to twist the knit stitches, and that was on accident. I totally thought I was supposed to twist both, so I could have got it done a little bit faster if I didn't have to twist the purl ones. But yeah, I've done a couple of the, I guess, repeats there. I guess it's kind of lace. It does have some yarn over, but yeah, so just making slow progress on this. It's definitely slower to knit socks that are in a pattern than if they're just straight stockinette. But yeah. And these are living in my Purple Girl triangle bag that came with a holiday set. Yeah, some holiday self-striping yarn and some stitch markers. So yeah, that's socks number 1, because I have another pair of socks, and these are more toe-up socks, which I'm discovering that I really like knitting toe-up, and I feel like it just goes faster in a way, and I like how at the end you're just working on ribbing. You don't have to worry about like decreasing or anything, and you've got all that done up front. So these are some toe-up socks with a difference by Wendy Johnson. They're out of Madeline Tosh sock in the Uncola colorway, and the toe and heel is out of Miss Babs Yummy Two Fly toes. I forget the colorway. It might be Beach Blanket or something. This was actually from this shawl. So yeah, the leftovers I'm using to make a toe and heel, contrasting toes and heels for these socks. So I'm knitting them on US Wens 2.25 millimeters on the Addi Flexi Flips, and I really like these needles. I feel like it's so easy to just pick up and go. Yeah, they're my favorite needles to knit on now out of all the sock needles I have. So I don't know, I kind of want to get more just so I can have another pair of socks going at the same time. So maybe I'll do that at Stitches. So I'm noticing that my gauge is a little bit larger on when I knit on these needles, and I haven't done the research yet to figure out if it's the yarn that I'm knitting with or if it's actually the needles, or if it's the size of the needles themselves, if they're slightly larger than some of the other ones that I have, or if I got the wrong size needles. And yeah, but either way, you can actually see, I think, yeah, so you can see there's a little bit of extra length here, or width, and these aren't even blocked, the ones that I'm knitting. So, and they're the same number of stitches around. So, yeah, and the same thing happened with the other toe-up socks that I knit, the self-striping ones in Molly Weasley, yeah. In that colorway, they were also a little bit wider, which I'm okay with. They fit both. Like I could fit into those and into these. These are a little bit kind of like thicker, and comfier, I guess, not as fitted. So I'm fine with either of those. So I guess it's just however they fit in my shoes. But yeah, so I'm thinking it might be like a combination, like, because I haven't knit with either this yarn or the Molly Weasley yarn before, and I think they might be a little bit have a little more body to them than some of the other yarn that I've used that's a little more tightly spun. So yeah, anyway, I'm just rambling. So these are the first pair toe-up socks, and they're living in my Bags by Awesome Granny guinea pig bag, which I love. It's so festive. And yeah, so the next work in progress that I have is a cowl And this is the Forest Park Cowl by Liz Abinante. This is knit out of Fiber Company Tundra in the colorway Taiga. And I'm knitting it out of US 8's 5.0 millimeters on my interchangeable Licky needles. And I like the way this looks on camera. It's a cable and garter stitch cowl, and it's a free pattern also. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's a free pattern, and it's normally knit out of, I think, an Aran weight yarn, and I have the Tundra is a bulky weight, so I went up one needle size to US 8. I think the pattern calls for US 7, but it's still a little tight. So this yarn is alpaca and silk and merino. So it's 60% alpaca, 30% merino, and 10% silk. So I'm hoping that after the blocking, it'll still have a good drape to it. Because I think what's the recommended needle size is US 10s to 11. So I'm knitting it a little bit tighter than it would normally be knit on. But I think that'll give it some structure because of the alpaca. And hopefully it'll still have a good amount of drape. I'm not sure yet. We're gonna see how it goes. Yeah, it's actually, so it's knit from the top down. So the cables end up like this. And yeah, and it'll get wider later on. So part of it, the bottom is gonna be wider than the top. So we'll see how that goes. I'm like 50-50 on it. I'm trying to figure out if I like it. I do really like the colors though and the pattern, but I'm not sure if the gauge is exactly what I want yet. But I'm also not as familiar with knitting with alpaca, so I think that it might be okay. I don't know. We will find out. But then again, so this was also, an alpaca, and I went down just one needle size, I think, from the recommended. And yeah, but this one is definitely meant to be a little more drapey too. So with the cables, on the other one it's a little bit more structured. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see what it ends up like. And that is living in a project bag that Erin made for me, one of my friends. So yeah. And then last, work in progress. Okay, finally. I have some Stay On Baby Booties. These are the Stay On Baby Booties by Knit Girl's Mother. They are an archive pattern on Ravelry, but the site that they were on is available, I think, like on the Wayback Machine. And then a lot of Ravelers have project notes that kind of explain the pattern, because I think the original pattern was a little hard to follow. So I'm following a couple of the other posts and links that have better explanations on how to make these. But yeah, this is out of this is knit out of Bala Joya yarn in the colorway Seattle's 12, and I got this in Seattle, and these are going to be a gift for a baby that lives in Washington, not quite Seattle, but close. And I'm hoping to make some matching socks for the mom. And yeah, and these are knit on US 2s, 2.75 millimeters, and I think these are some Addy circulars. Are these Addies? I think so. Oh, these aren't even I didn't even knit these on 2.75. These are on 3.0 millimeter needles that I thought were size 2. And this is the second booty. that you start from the top of the boot and work your way down. It's a really interesting construction. And I think that is all I have for my works in progress. That brings us to pretty things. And I just have one thing to show. I have more stuff on the way because Madeline Tosh had, I think it was a Black Friday sale or Cyber Monday sale. And then I had picked up some other things from Hey Sister Yarn Company. But this was the November Yarn Club. I think, yeah, I'm pretty sure it's November. I hope so. And this is the neutrals, I think, that I chose. And it is on their Allenz base, which is 75% merino and 25% nylon, fingering weight yarn, and it's in the colorway Moonbeam. And it's this nice cream with a little bit of gray tones and some orange red speckles and some gray speckles, and I really like it. It's very neutral, and yeah, I'm not sure what it's gonna be yet, but we'll see. I'll just be hanging on to it for a little bit, I bet. But yeah, so that's some pretty things, and I have more yarn from Hey Sister Yarn Company coming because they had anniversary colorway, I think, and I got some Waiting for Henry kits, which are some socks that one of them designed that are really cute. They're colorwork socks, so I'm excited for that. And they haven't shipped yet, and I really want them to come soon. And then from Madeline Tosh, I ordered, I'm sure I'll talk about this again next time, but I ordered some yarn for the Find Your Fade shawl. So I'm excited for that to come too and to finally make one of those. So yeah, anyway, that's all I have for you guys this month. And it's coming to the end of the year, so happy holidays, happy new year. I'm sure I won't have another episode up until next year, so Merry Christmas, happy belated Hanukkah. I guess it's still going, but yeah, and yeah, happy hope everyone's having a good time of year. Stay warm for those of you in the northern hemisphere, wearing all your hand knit stuff, and thanks for watching. And social media stuff, I am Eliana Knits on Ravelry. I'm on Perfect529 everywhere else pretty much, Instagram, Twitter, and not that I post either of those places very often, but yeah, that's it. That's all I have. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.